Hello, today is 7th of December 2022 and I'm continuing my series Daily Reality with Alex. Of course, when I'm doing this daily, and it is going to be till the end of 2023, so there are more than 65 more videos that are pending. Daily, I was willing to communicate with you everything that comes to my heart, the way I'm talking my walk and the way I'm walking my talk. This is the only way I can communicate and express myself without agenda, without specific preparations, and just expressing what is my state in the moment and how I'm ruling my reality based on who I am. So, today's topic is going to be a very important one, at least for me, and I see biggest resistance in this area of life of all type of human beings, and this is the topic of order. We the human beings love freedom. We love to be living in an unconditional expression. We are promoting strongly the so-called unconditional love, but is there something like this? We have a very strong bias and we are ready to give our life for the so-called concept of freedom. So actually in the human being there are things that are implanted that are important for its core existence, but also the order is something that is outside of us, with which we are constantly in necessity to actually have a regarding towards it and to all the time be in observational process with the orders to understand them, and actually we need to long term apply and subdue ourselves to specific orders. Of course, the big problem arises in the society that there are so many orders that we don't like, that there are so many things that we resist, but let me start with the fundamentals. From where this concept of order comes and how we know that long-term order is something that is able to be beneficial for humanity. Everything starts with the law of correspondence. As it is above, so it is below. When the human beings open their eyes and look at the skies and look at the nature and look how everything is moving in order, and only then there is a beneficial nature, and only then there is a benefit for the human beings, they start to understand that there is something there inside order which is very important. Let me state it loud and clear. We don't live in a friendly universe. We live in a universe that can be 100% friendly if we are on the right side of order, and also the same universe can be 100% resisting to everything we are trying to do. So we can say that the universe can be 100% friendly towards us and also 100% hostile towards us, because this is actually our personal perception about the outer reality. And of course, the objective truth is that the outside reality is actually neutral to who we are, but it's 100% supported by laws and by order. It is not possible even love, the so-claimed power of connection and bonding, to be able to exist without being placed under order. So according to me, and of course this is my personal opinion and I have implemented it strongly in my life, that it is impossible to live a life and to express myself in this reality without being placed under order and without understanding that there is no such type as unconditional love. For everything in nature there are conditions, there are laws. So there is power in love, but love, if it's from the other side of order, and if it's based on resistance or if it's bias, and there are so many exclusions of how love can actually become pervasive and can turn into hate. But of course, these are a lot of other conversations, and I know I'm personally a Christian, and a lot of people are saying, well, what Jesus did on the cross with this storytelling, he expressed the perfect and unconditional love. Actually, there was a big condition for the Creator to love back the human beings, and this was at the expense of the death of his only begotten Son, according to the story. So there was an exchange, there was a transaction in order we to feel a beneficial universe. And of course, when we deep dive into order, I have a lot of people around me that are resisting the governments, that are long-term saying that the government is something that is not good, that paying taxes is something that are not good, that we as high conscious people, we need to be against or neutral to everything out there and should be able to move in reality without subduing ourselves to governmental woe, while actually we are doing it daily and we are lying and living into a delusion that we are not subduing. But if we are sincere with ourselves, long term, everything in societies is work in progress. What is the expression in the outside reality regarding order today? There are some beautiful things, there are good tendencies, and of course there are bad tendencies. Every time order is influenced, as more the government and the law enforcement is going not according to the correspondence and the law of the nature of correspondence, the more and more people are rightfully resisting this, but it doesn't mean that long-term order and lawfulness are not good thing to embrace, because based on order everything else exists. It's not possible there to be reality construct without order, because what order brings to the table, it brings stability, it brings peace, it brings long-term everything to come into its own place and to have pure harmony. Of course, a lot of you can say that this is impossible in the world of duality, order to exist, but anyhow, long term, there is direction in everything towards transformation and going into a higher order of being, where it will be all enforced on by will and by authenticity. Every being that is out there is going to be subdued under order. So in a sense, we can say whatever we want, we can move forward into resistant movements as much as we want, but basically if we want to experience the friendliness of the universe and the friendliness of the construct of reality, it's better to start deep diving and understanding the power of order and all the laws that are out there actually to support us. Let me start with a simple personal example of authenticity and how I'm implementing the order principle in my personal life. It is very important for me on a personal level daily to actually subdue myself, to be as much as possible living first of all under the order of all the laws that are out there and supporting the universe, and all the orders that are based in the construct of reality. And only when I'm in correspondence, coherence, alignment with everything that is out there, then it's much easier for me authentically to move through the limitations of reality and to be able actually to subdue to human government, to human orders, and to actually appreciate everything that is helping humanity. That's why personally I love paying taxes. I'm paying more than 50,000 euro maybe of taxes annually. I have all my declarations done every year, and actually what I realized that as more I'm paying to the government, the more and more I am supported from the construct of reality, and more possibilities actually appear before me to move forward and to be much more influential. Of course, a lot of you can say, well, Alex, but now you are going to be placed into the trap of the governments and they are going to control you and you are not going to be independent. And you see, when I'm disobeying, when I'm outside the laws, I'm very free. I can do whatever I want. Of course, you can go into this type of dysfunctional, non-interactional part of reality, but then it is becoming less and less possible for you to actually interact with reality as it is, because the laws, if they are strongly able to be universally objective for everybody, it should be a very good and beautiful thing for you and for me, the so-called high conscious beings. So long term, if we are exploring and how we work with the correspondence between the different layers of laws is one thing, but long term we don't need to develop deep inside of us resistance, hate, and speaking against governments, against rule of law, against order, against taxation, because then we start living in a non-authenticity way in this reality. And for me personally, I have reconciliated it because I'm accepting everything as it is. Yes, I know that nothing is perfect, that nothing is just, that nothing is helping the poor as we all want, that the system is made in such a way that someone are more favored than others, someone have more initial ability to prosper than others. But long term, if we trust on a higher level of laws, a higher level of connections, it is not up to us to lift ourselves up into the human experience. The only thing we need to do when we move daily through reality to do our small daily movements forward towards being aligned and loving to be subdued and to live under order, because long term order is supporting uniqueness, order is supporting authenticity, and order is willing to bring all of us into its best potential in order to serve the so-called common good. And anyhow, long term, this is the direction. Everything to move towards more order, and of course, in order to be made authentically, it should be done through more conscious subduing of the will under the will of the common good. And there should be so many debates, and there are so many things and propaganda and projects and different agenda where they are trying to define what is the common good. But whenever we want to go back into the correspondence and alignment, we always look up in the skies, we always look up into the basics, and this is our primary focus. We are not looking at the effects that reality is giving us, that are of course not the perfect expression of law and order, but long term, when you look up at the above and see how everything, when it's moving in order and everything is in its own place, how beautiful it is and how it's possible nature and everything to exist together in collaboration, in peace, and so on. Of course, for us the human beings now it's only a dream, because we see a lot of wars, we see a lot of transformations, a lot of transitions going on all the time, but long term, anyhow, there is only one primary direction towards 100% order. Yes, many of us can say, Alex, we understand it, the artificial intelligence, all these surveillances and so on, they are going to bring us into total tyranny. Yes, this is one possibility, but instead of saying, well, all of this that you are speaking about for the future, it is so dark, so we are going to resist the principles of order. I'm going to go for the flows, for the unconditional. I'm not going to obey anything. I'm just going to move, and whatever I'm feeling, I'm just going to not spot any laws. I'm not going to spot all the causalities and effects. I'm going to be myself and to express myself, and you cannot subdue me. Nobody can ever put me under order. I'm such a being that I'm going to resist everything that is giving me some impression that I need to bow down. Alex, I will never bow down under anything. Of course, there are a lot of possibilities of scenarios, but we are strongly long-term willing to move towards what is and what is effective and what is working in every area of life. And only then we can thrive and we can prosper and we can be successful. That's why every time when you are wondering about the expressions, always look and move back to the fundamentals. This is what I'm doing on a daily level. I will never be impressed from lawlessness. I will never be impressed by resistance to laws. I will never be impressed of me being involved into different type of vortexes. Of course, long term, I can always express myself and tell what is, according to me, the best correspondence between the laws and what is the human expression. Of course, in my personal life, I can implement whatever types of expressions that are beneficial for all, and if they are beneficial for all and the effect and the fruits are out there, and it can be proven, no human law can actually restrict the benefit. Long-term benefits cannot be restricted. So when I want to express my love and it is forbidden for me to do it, I will have make thousands of reasons to be able to do it. So in a sense, I'm personally very rebellious against all type of limitations because I sense that I'm a limitless being, but also I'm respecting everything that long term can be able to sustain and to promote and to actually make a more friendly and beautiful objective reality. Of course, the intentions of the human beings, when they are disconnected from the source and from the fundamentals, are always biased. Everything that we are seeing and hearing about, we are 100% and totally and constantly light in the physical material reality. That's why we are developing discernment, but it doesn't mean that the fundamentals are not correct. It doesn't mean that we need to escape from the power of order and understanding that long-term order is out there and is part of the construct, and only through order everything is possible to exist in nature, in human society, in cosmos, in the invisible world, in the visible world. So, thank you for watching today. I know that this topic is very controversial, but I just wanted to express how I'm dealing with this issue, and for me to rule my own personal reality is the most important existential thing that each of us is to do. And that's why I have created my programs, Ruling Reality Basics, Beyond Success Reality, where I'm speaking about how it's possible to make money, but according to law and order, and how to actually see and live and be like everyone else, to be amongst the other, to do everything that is authentic, that is part of your expression in this human society, and instead of disassociating ourselves from society, to 100% interact and be involved, but not at the expense of our authentic expression. So, thank you for watching. Bye bye. Have a nice reality. Start spotting the order principles that are out there.